Wait, you
I
missed it
tricked
so
you.
bad.
I
You
missed
played
it so
twice.
bad I had to play it twice. What's happening, invaders? So happy to be back. Look, there's Clem already.
Man,
Clem,
he was sitting waiting.
he was waiting. I'm so disappointed. I was really hoping my ZynVaded would be here, but it's not yet. And I'm really waiting for it. I even told my kids about it. We're going to go out to eat just so we can go play a game.
Yeah.
Well, we got Ron and Spaz. What's happening, everybody?
What's
yeah,
up,
but
guys?
I'm excited
Welcome in.
for it. I'm excited for it. It should be pretty cool. So, well, Eric has been the mastermind of doing things this week. Not I. I have done so little in the gaming world. I still have my Necromunda mess on the table from last Saturday's game. Now, I did put away half the table because my game ended pretty quick. I curb stomped the Escher gang pretty quickly. So I cleaned up half of the table, but our other game went really, really long. So there was that. Oh, okay. I gotta share this. This was the best part. So I know a lot of people don't play Necromunda, but this was just awesome. So the game that went really long, one of our guys had captured the other guy's leader. So we had the Chaos Cult captures the Redemptionist leader. Okay. So they go to do a rescue mission. Well, they fail. And the leader of the other gang has now officially joined the Chaos Cult. So everything that he was completely against, he has now become part of that cult. So I thought that was pretty cool. What's up, Jim, the master of Space Station Zero?
Yeah,
Mac,
no kidding,
I'm gonna
Jim.
try and play tomorrow.
I got to watch your new video. Right. I was watching other videos you had up. He's on fire this week.
I know. He's blowing things up, man. He needs to be. We need a guest spot. That's what we need. We need to have the tabletop engineer on with us. There it is.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, he came in early, like I don't know, it was episode 5 or something that we did when we were still doing just the audio.
I don't even think we were just on. We weren't even on StreamYard. I don't think.
No, and I just remember half the time we were just laughing.
That's probably a very good possibility.
Yeah,
very good possibility. All right. Well, okay. He said, okay, we'll let all of the world know. He said, anytime.
There you go. It's on video and audio record, Jim.
That's right. It is recorded. It was recorded. Yeah, it was just a. Hey, look, there's Tonio. What's happening, buddy?
What's up?
For those who have not seen, Tonio posted up some pics. So Tonio is an amazing painter, but his giant, dubbed Big Mac, is amazing. You guys got to go check out the paint jobs. Just fantastic stuff. So anyway, so what have you been working on, man?
So this week I've had some time off trying to get some projects done around the house. Got new shelving, so I have room for all this Black Site Studios terrain I've been building lately. I mean, some of it's still sitting back there.
You're the fanboy now. Did you order them all?
I'll admit it. I really like their terrain. I really like it.
Get them all.
Man, that's a steep one. If you guys haven't seen their new mall, what's cool about that mall now, it's modular. So you can buy, I think some of the kits are like $60. You can buy just this little section, then this section, and this section, and eventually you put it all together and configure it different ways, and you have this huge mall. Or you can get the big bundle.
Yeah, which I think you end up saving a substantial amount if you just buy all at once. Obviously, that's
I don't know. I was holding off. I'm holding off because this Friday they're releasing the new Curse Crate, which has got not one but 2 new expansions in it. And they always throw in some extra stuff. And do I have it close by? They are releasing part 3 of the Gourd Reaper.
Nice.
So every Halloween in the last 3 years, they've released something with this character they've created. Perfect for Halloween. So I'm sure I'll be giving them some money in the next week. Oh, yeah. I just don't know for what, but we'll see.
I still say that the absolute best thing Black Site Studios ever did was package their Don't Look Back stuff in VHS cases. That's the best.
But this is what else I've been working on. And I did post a picture somewhere of my crew for Don't Look Back, and it does not want to focus very good. I will have to take another picture, but if you guys haven't seen the picture, I took one of the expansions from Zombicide Invaders, which were this kabuki sci-fi gang. That is what I'm using. So
I got to dig through my stuff. I'll dig through my core space stuff and see. I've got a ton of stuff already painted up.
I mean, I just thought these would be perfect. I like the leader. You know, she's like this kabuki queen princess with the samurai sword. But then she's got, just like a Uzi that I, of course, painted gold.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you're going to be she kind of looked like a geisha girl.
Yeah.
With an Uzi. Don't mess with that one, right?
Don't mess with her, man. She means business.
Don't be messing. Well,
like I was working on other projects, too, that may be coming down the pipeline for YouTube. So,
yeah, like I really haven't had the opportunity to work on anything. I got a little bit of paint on some models that I got with Sedition Wars, and I just got it for the models because they're sort of plague zombie-ish, and that's an element in one of the outlaw gangs for Necromunda. And since that's what I've got everybody playing right now, that's what we're playing. You know, basically it's kind of like when you have a small gaming community. If you can get people to show up and that's what they'll play, then that's the game you play.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and
I would rather be playing Twisted, not gonna lie, but this is what they'll play. This is what they'll play. So this is what we're playing.
Let me see. We got any good comments here? Well, I like Clem's right here. He's probably commenting on something we were talking about.
We already are trying to buy all the things. That's the problem. I bought last week.
Yeah, I had to go get a new shelf.
Yeah, see, I asked Eric before we started. I was like, so think there's anything that I'll have to impulse buy tonight?
Yeah, it depends what comes up in the conversation, and having our studio audience here.
We just got started, right? So who knows what's going to come up. Hey, Jason, look at there. There's one of our friends right there. He says, I love Necromunda. Of course you do. Of course you do.
That's funny.
All right. Well, I guess.
Oh, here we go. Jim's twisting the screws right now.
Oh, that was dirty, Jim. That was dirty. I have not. I looked at it very briefly.
Yeah, the new relic blade looks pretty nice. There's some nice new minis in there.
I know he partnered with Malev to do a few things.
Yeah.
So we'll yes, very dirty to do that too. I don't have anyone to play Relic Blade. Oh, solo rules. Now, don't even get it all the way out of my mouth. He's like, solo rules.
Man, he was quick. He knew what you were going to say.
He probably already had it typed up and was just hovering over the enter key. He was like, he's going to say there's nobody to play. Boom, solo rules.
Yep.
That's what friends are for. Like with friends like you guys, who needs enemies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they always yell at us for making them buy stuff.
Right, really. It's like the roles have reversed here.
Yeah.
Ron says he's got my number. Yeah, but you know what? I'm a pretty easy mark. So to be fair, I mean, just being totally transparent here, I'm a pretty easy mark. So
that's funny.
Well, what are we talking about tonight, sir?
Well, tonight we have a topic that I think everybody kind of has to stop and think about every once in a while. So tonight we're talking about building versus painting, which motivates your hobby. You know, you think about what keeps you going in the tabletop gaming, wargaming, could be any tabletop gaming. Which of these two get you more excited when you're sitting down at the hobby desk? So I thought, you know, this was your idea actually of let's take a look at it. Let's dissect it. And I thought of some points for this, and I guess what motivates you? I think we know what motivates you in your hobby.
One of the things that got me thinking about this was since we started playing Necromunda again, and Warhammer, because whether it's 40K or whether it was Fantasy Battles or Age of Sigmar now, it's always been about a lot of models. So it's been about building. Yeah. And for me, when I was playing 40K, it was always about conversion, right? It was always about what could I do different with my guys. I remember when we went from the monopose dudes to the pieces. And that was the most amazing thing, because then you were instantly changing up your whole Space Marine or Orc army just by moving their arms, right? So back then, I really wasn't a very good painter. I was doing just like we've discussed many times before. I had the Tester's white paintbrush, still using the model paints, right? And so the building,
big brushes like this.
That was my eye brush. That was what I painted eyeballs with. That's what that one was. But so the building of the models always did it. And I think this for me, there's a different category too. So for me, it's a distinction between terrain and miniatures. So the thing that motivates me really on the miniature side of it is building.
Okay. Not so much the painting, but the building.
I like to paint, especially as I've gotten better at it. But when I sat back down and started doing my Necromunda stuff and chopping hands off and gluing belt packs on and, reposing heads and all that kind of stuff, you're pumping them out. You're like, oh, this is a cool idea. You're digging through the bits box, finding
the
all
kit
that.
Bashing fun.
Yeah, the kit bashing, so much fun. I love building.
Yeah, and I always look at the building minis as, when you're building, you get to you get attached to the models, right? And certain characters, and like a lot of times, especially when you're kit bashing, I think you start in your head to kind of create this backstory for them. And I think that's why you get attached to them. And you they become alive, I guess, in a way for you. They're not just like, gray plastic type of thing. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why I like actually painting them is, it brings them more to life then. Right. Now, I saw Clem here. He posted that he loves having the painted models, but not actually painting them.
Yeah.
And I think there's many people like that out there.
Yeah. And we discussed a little bit about that too before, when we first started talking about all of the speed paints.
Yeah.
Is like, for me, with my twisted stuff, I do use the speed paints because I like what they do on certain things. But since it's a much smaller game, I take my time and paint all those. But when I'm doing stuff like Necromunda, where I'm doing all of these gangs and all of these dudes, and I'm painting the monsters and the Adeptus Arbits and all of these other things to go with the game, I just want them painted and on the table. Just like Todd saying, I want them painted and on the table. They don't have to look the best. It's the old 3 feet rule, right?
Yeah.
And
just so you can play.
Jason said he likes building because his painting skills are beginner level, loving to do the conversions. That's my redemptionist player who lost his leader.
Oh, okay.
So sympathy for him, everybody. Just a little bit of sympathy for him. What did Ron say?
Yeah, I like
Many
Ron's
agnostic games get me motivated as I get to pick models I really like and want to paint in order to play. Yeah, we touched on that last week too, that it makes those big piles of models, those piles of opportunity that you have, a little easier to tackle, because just like when I go to build my crew for Space Station 0 tomorrow, I won't have, even though I have a big giant drawer full of stuff from Endure the Stars, Zombicide Invader, Core Space, Star Wars, all of this other stuff, I'm going to go through and I'm going to pick 6 or 8 models and tackle those.
Yeah.
So it's like eating an elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah, that's the fun part, is you get to be selective. You don't, many times you look at the bigger games where you have the big, large squads, and there's only so many troops that are pretty much carbon copies of each other that you can do. Whereas the skirmish games, and that's what, we've been really drawn to in the last couple of years, is that you can be more selective and enjoy, just picking those certain models out. So yeah, that actually has been a very big motivator for me, is to be more selective that way.
I will say, I want to plug something real quick. So for Space Station Zero, if you're looking for some really cool Space Dude models, go check out CP Models, their website.
Yes.
They have some fantastic, super unique, really departing from the humanoid space guy look, the Star Trek, Star Wars, really, they just have a different head and they're a different color. There's some real departures from that if you're looking for some really unique stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I saw this comment coming. Tonio prefers painting to building. Either way, I enjoy it way more if it's for individual model than assembly line. More time on shading, weathering with the paint. Same thing with assembly, converting and adding details and green stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Jim, I'll throw up a link for CP Models before we're done. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah. And so let's talk terrain and boards, because this is kind of I think this was one of your big motivators.
No.
And kind of, you got to look at what is fun about it. Why do you do it? Why do you like it? And I think all these things, you kind of got to ask that, why are you doing it type of thing. And that kind of touches in to the last comment we popped up there. But and I mentioned this a little bit with the minis, you're creating a character, they come to life. I think when you do terrain and boards, it's kind of the same thing. You're creating a world that the game lives in. And it's like that, making that character all together.
So that's my wheelhouse. Oh, hold on. Mini Warmutt is bonding with me here. Build all the minis, prime them, and then stash them away until you have an itch to paint them. Dude, you just described my miniature drawer over there. Everything. Well, no. Now, Eric, be honest here. Well, he's getting better. So Eric has boxes that still have shrink wrap on them.
They are open. I've looked at them, smelled them, touched them.
Okay, and then put them back in the box.
Put them back in
the box.
I can't
do that. That goes back to that building thing. I got to build them, prime them, and then put them away.
So I usually am pretty good about building them, and then I kind of, I squirrel them away somewhere.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I've got them all. They're all primed, black, white, gray, just depends. Okay, so I got the link up for CP Models. Spaz says, not that he's planning on buying anything, just want to look. No problem.
Nothing wrong with looking.
No problem.
Nothing wrong with looking.
No, just look. Just look away. Look away.
If your hand slips and you press that button, that's all right.
We will not hold it against you.
Yeah, no judgment.
We are an encouraging community here. Encouraging community. Very much so. But back to the terrain, Todd said, building great terrain and boards are great, but take up so much space.
Yeah, you got to have the right.
House. Need a pole barn to make your play world.
It's one of those things you got to look at. Can I realistically do that? So, like, if you're struggling with that space, you got to ask yourself, is this fun? I mean, you could do it to a limited amount, but I don't know. You do something that I know a lot of times is good if people do get motivated by building this, is give it away. Donate it to stores, donate it to other buddies that maybe don't have terrain or don't like building terrain.
Last Coastal Con, I put one of them in the raffle. I was just like, I'm just going to stick it in the raffle and see what happens. Well, I did the raffle last year at Coastal Con, like I've seen it done other places, where you just put your tickets in the thing that you want to win. Let's just say that the piece of terrain had all the tickets in it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it had a crazy amount of tickets in it.
Yeah, and I think building terrain is the tough one for people, for motivating, because of that sheer fact that it takes up a lot of space.
It does.
Time. I think it takes a little more effort to, I think, make something that you enjoy. Because I know I've tried doing terrain and I've gotten done with it, and I'm like, what did I just make? I'm not very satisfied with it. Right. So it's kind of a tough thing to do. But there's a lot of people out there that love it.
Yeah, and I mean it takes practice.
Yeah.
And so true. one of the things that I've learned, because it takes so much space up, is I try when I build something to make it so I can cross-pollinate it. You know what I mean? So my sci-fi stuff is generic enough sci-fi that I'm going to use it across all of my sci-fi games.
Yeah.
Even with my twisted steampunk stuff, I tend to build it in such a way that the real steampunky stuff is scatter, so that the rest of it can be used maybe like in a fantasy setting.
Okay.
Because stylistically the houses, you know, they can match up fairly easily. And
there's some good comments in there.
He said, I opened the link and the cover page nearly made me faint. I blame you for whatever happened.
Oh boy, that's gonna be what, 2 weeks in a row for Spaz?
Okay.
Maybe
Hold
3.
on.
I don't know.
I'm gonna share why he said that. I'm gonna share why he said that, because it is a pretty good one.
Oh, I like this comment too. That's Spaz said before that. Epic level enablers, just equal.
Hold on. I shared the wrong one.
Equal opportunity out there.
Oh, you know? Yeah. I mean, we just want to make sure that everyone gets the same opportunity.
Well informed.
Okay, here we go. See, there it is. Okay, I did the wrong. There it is.
So this is for all you guys in the studio audience.
This is why he said that.
Oh, yeah, that's got his name written all over it. There's an earthworm with a machine gun.
And I've got the earthworm dude, and I've got the wasp dude.
Wow.
I've got a couple of those guys. They're super.
Dang it, Mac. Now I'm gonna be going to this site. I need an earthworm with a machine gun.
Happy to be inclusive.
Spaz, that would go great with Alaska Ape. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Worm Boy and Alaska Ape. Come on. That's a Batman and Robin in the making right there.
Oh my God.
Ron said still have some old Starship Troopers models still in shrink wrap. Man, those are worth a pretty penny. I've tried to get my hands on a few of them to use them for some other projects. Get those suckers painted up, man. But okay, we digressed because of that.
We're getting derailed a little bit, right? But that's okay.
But the terrain, Todd said, envious of my game basement. I am pretty lucky as far as that. So that allows me to be able to build terrain and experiment and collect. Although, you know, I will say this, Jim has not posted a picture of his new game space that he has in his new house that he moved to. And I've seen little corner angles of it and stuff in his video. Yeah. And I'm thinking he's got an envious space too. So I'm thinking we may need to see a tour of a tabletop.
Yeah, I didn't see a video for Show Me Your Hobby Space, Jim.
I didn't see one either. But terrain, and well, we have Jim here. He's a big terrain builder. Ron's a big terrain builder. Mini Warm-Up builds a fair bit of terrain too. He's a big terrain builder. And it's like you said, it's the third player in the game, or with as many solo games as we've got going on and out there right now, the second player in the game. There's just so much that it adds to the table. Mm-hmm. And for you guys that are really concerned about space, what you need to do is focus on, this is just my suggestion, focus on scatter terrain, because scatter terrain is what brings the table together, right? I mean, it breaks up all of your hard lines of putting a square building on there. It breaks up all those hard lines and pulls the table together. And you can store most of the scatter terrain if you build it with this in mind, and store everything in the little plastic containers with the lid that you can, the clear ones that you can get at the Dollar Tree. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes it organic in a way.
Yeah.
That's why I like to think of it. So we touched a little bit on painting and minis, but we didn't touch on why it was great. I think we did mention bringing them to life. Kind of you make up a backstory, right. But I think just doing that, adding that color is cool about that. Being in, going to art school and stuff like that, it's like I have fun doing that.
Sure.
And I think one of the big things, and I've heard this with a lot of people when it comes to painting minis, is it can be very relaxing. Whether you're doing 30 minutes, hour, 2 hours, to sit down and just shut out the rest of that world is a good reason why people sit and paint minis. And this can be applied for building terrain too, is that you're shutting that everyday part of your brain off, where you're worrying about work, you're worrying about kids and bills and the house, fixing this, fixing that kind of stuff. So
I mean, I paint with my 12-year-old. I got a lot of kids, so you got to find the time to make time for each one of them. And that's what I do with my 12-year-old. He likes to paint. So where I have my paint desk set up, I've got a long table. My paints are on the ends. He sits across from me. He grabs, whatever. I mean, he's got some 40K Imperial Guard. He's got some Rumble Slam dudes. He's got some Blood Bowl guys. And he sits across from me and we talk. We talk and we paint.
Yeah. That's
Ron said we need a paint and chat night again.
It's been a while. Well, with fall and winter coming, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming and people wrap up their summer activities. But I think having a family-oriented type of stuff, when you can get your kids into it too, it's very good for that connection.
Yeah.
A lot of times we do this hobby as, not just an outlet for relaxing, but for that connection. I mean, all these categories, whether it's minis, terrains, boards, is, one of the big questions I like to think about is, why are you doing this? Are you doing it just for self-enjoyment, relaxing? Are you doing it to enter maybe in local competitions, or are you getting ready for tournaments, or just basic gameplay too? So, I mean, you look at all these things and you kind of think about, okay, what is it exactly that motivates you? And there's a lot of factors, and I think it's individual for each person. So,
I know, like for me with getting together with the kids, I'm right now, I'm trying to get my 12-year-old. What he's working on over there is he's put together some Imperial Guard models, and he's been kind of building them and painting them Necromunda-esque. So I'm trying to get him into the Necromunda game with us. But my kids love Zombicide. They love Formula D. That's a board game, but they love Formula D. And my favorite thing that they do, and I've got a bunch of pictures up on the Coastal Con Facebook group of this, is they'll just go grab a bunch of my terrain and set up a table, grab a whole bunch of dice, and they'll just start making stuff up.
I like that about with kids. They just make up their own rules and stuff.
Oh, I didn't even think of this because I'm not a screen guy when I work. I'm working out of textbooks, but hobbying to unplug to get away from the screen after a day of sitting in front of it. That I didn't even think about that. That's very real in this day and age with a lot of people working on computers.
Yeah.
So
that's a very good motivation. And I think a lot of people don't think of that. I mean, especially sometimes like when I'm working on stuff, I'll have the screen on, but I don't work in front of it all day. I'll have it on more or less like background noise,
right?
Pop on videos or gameplay or something.
Well, we're getting a lot of requests for a hobby hangout, so I'm thinking maybe we'll have to do a group hobby session again. And Eric's right, with it starting to move in towards fall and it cooling off for you people that are in places where it's actually going.
Notice I'm wearing my hoodie. I don't have pants on yet because I don't want the leg prisons, but
not going to change ever. But for those of you people where it actually gets cold, people start going inside more, not spending as much time outside. So maybe we can make that happen. That would be nice. I know right now I see that comment. I know right now Eric has been doing the Saturday night ones, but our gaming group has been meeting on Saturday nights, so I haven't been able to jump in on that one because on the rare occasions the gaming group doesn't show up. I really do like you guys, but I like my wife a lot more than I like you guys. So when I get that rare opportunity that she's not working, I'm gonna pick her. Sorry, fellas. All right, see you later, Jim. We'll shoot you an email about joining us. Spaz. Eric has taught me to play a couple of games. Sometimes it feels like he's making the rules up as he goes along too. That's what my kids are doing. I call it Calvin Ball, the miniatures version.
You know what? Sometimes with the kids that we play, Spaz, you got to be able to beat them somehow, right?
That's right. Beat them however you can. All right. Well, we have the shenanigans are coming to an end.
Yeah.
So I have to go pick my child up from work. So on that note, thanks for joining us again, guys. I think this was a real good. This ended up being a good topic.
Went fast. It always goes fast.
Yeah. So join us every Thursday night, guys, for our live stream, and always be on the lookout on our Facebook page for whenever we're going live to hobby or something like that. Check us out on all of those podcast channels and apps and all of that cool stuff out there. You can find us all over the place. Podbean is our preferred home, so you check us out there. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Discord. If you have any hobby ideas or anything, shoot us an email at indieinvasion@gmail.com. Check out the Discord. Don't forget, Tonio just posted some of his paintings over there. His stuff's awesome. Go check it out on the Discord. Join us for some continuing shenanigans throughout the week.
Yeah.
You can also check us out on Patreon if you want to throw a couple quarters at us. But most importantly, and I don't know who did it, but somebody just bought a t-shirt, which is awesome. Check us out on Redbubble, where we have t-shirts, coffee cups, baseball hats. It's getting colder. You might need a hoodie. Might need a comforter for your bed. You can have an Indie Invasion comforter.
Heck yeah, we're dipping down in the 50s already up here.
Oh man, it was 104 today.
Oh my God.
So yeah, we didn't get that one. So all right, guys, we will catch you guys next week when you're out there playing your games, having way too much fun, building models, painting stuff, and just generally enjoying things. Remember to prepare yourself for the invasion.